start recording. Okay, so now it's art critique time. Let us begin. Yesterday we did it for Mercenary Park, so today I want to do it for a weapon. And I'm thinking a sniper weapon, can you guess it? Yay, new items. It's a secondary, can you guess it? Can you guess it? It is the SMG. SMG, so let's go. Disclaimers as always. You see many game design videos on YouTube. This is gonna not focus too much on game design. This is more about the visuals here, just a part of it, you know. I'm gonna talk a little bit about design, but this is mostly focused on the visuals. And also, I'm gonna be following Feldman's method for this critique, which involves 4 steps in order. Description, analysis, interpretation, and evaluation at the end. On the description, I'll describe what I see. On the analysis, I'm gonna dive into the elements of art. On the interpretation, I will interpret the creative vision behind the art. And on the evaluation step, I'm going to call this a successful or unsuccessful work of art, basing myself on the principles of art. The principles are basically how the author chose to use the elements, so if that's well aligned with the creative vision, you know, so the author managed to pull off what they wanted, what they tried to achieve, you know, stuff like that. So, without further ado, let's begin! Description, SMG. So, what do I see? It's a gun! Okay, it's an SMG, the name, as the name suggests, has this... I'm gonna talk about it for the analysis, but there's this very long clip, and also a very long and thin barrel of this gun. What else? The grip of it seems to be made out of wood, I would guess. The rest is probably metal, iron, or I don't know what they use exactly, if not iron. Maybe steel, I wouldn't know. What else has this little circle on the top thing to help you aim? It's not. Do you call this a crosshair? I don't know. The trigger. I don't think there is much to talk about for the SMG. It's just a simple weapon, really, without getting into the details of weapon design, talking about the mechanisms and whatever in depth. We don't need to go there. Anyway, so if that's the description, we can move on to the analysis. So I'm doing like analysis in a faster way now. I'm not gonna go through all the elements of art, but I will still remind you of which ones I'm considering here, because I take into account the classic 7, which is lines, shapes, forms, space, texture, color, and value. And like some authors, I add points to that, so just a friendly reminder as always. And so yeah, so for the elements of art, I did mention already the very long clip and barrel of the gun. We could say they have like, that refers to their shapes and forms. I could say that the clip has this like, shapes are 2-dimensional, forms are 3-dimensional, by the way, in an art critique like this. So as I was saying, so there's like a rectangular shape for the clip. Since this is 3D, depending on the angle, we got different shapes, by the way. You have like this very thin cylindrical form for the barrel of the gun. The barrel is this part where the bullets come out of. What else? We could mention color. There's a lot of gray in it, brown on the grip of it. What else? If I'm gonna talk about the use of space, there is the hollow part on the barrel of the gun, and tighter uses of space are here on the trigger, on the aiming support thing. What else? And a little bit more general on these parts, right, between the clip and the grip, or the clip and the barrel, but you know, then it starts to get a little bit, I don't know, scraping the bottom of the barrel, let's say, I don't know. What else for other elements of art? As far as value goes, light and darkness, the usual stuff 1442 for weapons in the loadout menu. There is like mild shades and depending on the angle, some very noticeable brightness, but nothing too intense in either case, nothing pitch black and neither flashing brightly, so the candela there is in the middle ground, let's say. Candela is how you measure light intensity in science, in real life. What else? Anything else that calls my attention here for the analysis? There's also a lot of minute and intricate shapes here for all these details and stuff. I'm not gonna describe every single one of them. Texture I think is always an interesting element of art, but I don't think I see much of it here. Even on the I see some with the help of light. We see some of these like slightly damaged textures on the grip of the gun. Maybe there's something else. Yeah, kind of something else on other parts. Although it's really hard to see that without the help from the specific angles and the light. Yeah, not that expressive textures this time around. What else? For lines and points, I don't see many of them because mostly there's like when they are separating things. For example, we have like two sides of the grip here. This part which is brighter than the one here. There could be a line separating them, but they don't chose to do that, which is common 1442 art. And so yeah, I think that's it then for the very simple analysis without listing every single element and looking for it everywhere. So let's move on to the interpretation. So, interpretation of the creative vision. The basics, right? Let's start with what's simple. They wanted to make a weapon for the sniper 1442. No, I don't think this was taken from another game, and they made it for Sniper 1442, so that's one part of it. What else? Well, if we think a little bit about game design, the way this gun works. Okay, there's the way this gun works, which is it shoots in a. When you shoot it, it's like in a point, unlike the minigun of the heavy, which is kind of an area and it spreads, so it has a smaller spread on this gun, I think, from my experience. And also, we know that the whole schmuck of the sniper is the sniping from afar, so there's the sniper rifle, pretty easy to notice for the length of it and and also the forms of the sniper rifle. We're not critiquing it today, but you know the barrel of the sniper rifle is very long and thin, and so considering that, and when I say that this has a small spread, this means that you gotta be more careful how you aim with this, right? When if you talk about gameplay, because unlike the heavy, if you place an area, then it spreads, but you have more. Then you are more about luck. With the SMG having a smaller area and a smaller spread, that means it's more about your skill, and all of that. Anyway, what I'm getting at, I'm gonna interpret that part of the vision was all about like alluding to, you know, to those specific aspects of the sniper, of aiming and the long barrel of the sniper rifle, because. So in other words, like their choice of an SMG, I don't know if all SMGs are like this. I'm gonna do a very quick Google search. Also, give me a second. I hope that helps with the noise. I usually try to leave the door open to help with... what's it? I usually try to leave the door open to help with my connection. Hopefully it's not gonna be a problem just for the critique. So, oh no, there are many designs of SMGs. Nice, great to know. Perhaps from a quick Google search here, the thing that's most common for them is the long clip size. Very interesting. But okay, so perfect. So I believe this specific design of an SMG with the this long tube, considering its shapes and forms, I think was all about tying to that specific side of the sniper. Because I think it's fair enough to separate those in different ideas, because this isn't a sniper rifle after all. This is a secondary, but I do believe there's some nods to that in a way, you know, because of this design of this SMG. Okay, so we have and let's articulate that better, right? So how about the idea of a gun that has some resemblances to the sniper rifle, or should the focus on the sniper gameplay specifically? How much is important to aim as a sniper, you know? Unlike say a pyro where you can just shoot fire everywhere, and if your flames touch one person for 1 second, they're already burning. So yeah, you don't. In any case, anything else for the creative visual here that I'm gonna interpret? Not sure there is much else to say. Since this is one of the stock weapons, usually there is less flair to it, let's say. And I imagine that's because it was launched with the whole game, and the game was its own flair, you know. So just a guess here. But let's see if I can come up with something. There's, for example, the design of it with all these parts here, but not sure I can make out anything specific. Metal and wood, don't think. I don't know. Let's just leave 2 ideas for the creative vision here. I think with those 2, the authors, it's a good enough interpretation here. Because I don't think on the lore, for example, can't think of anything specific for a sniper to tie into SMGs or whatnot. So yeah, okay. So the 2 ideas for the creative vision here will be 1, a weapon for the sniper 1442, and 2, specifically for this weapon to have some nods to the sniper rifle and or the gameplay of the sniper about aiming. So 2 ideas, gonna be simple here. So let's move on to the evaluation step now. Our judgment step, both of them works. So similarly to the analysis, I'm not gonna go through every single principle of art. I'm just gonna say broadly what comes to my mind more easily. And this time also think on the vision, so because it's gonna be easy. If we find at least one principle that relates to each part of the vision, that's already what we need to call this successful. To call this a successful work of art. And if you can't find anything, then if some parts of the vision were missing, then it's gonna be unsuccessful. So yeah, I just need to remind you of what are the principles I'm gonna be considering here, which will be movement, unity/variety, balance, emphasis, contrast, and proportion. So let's go. First things first. So we can already think of the vision, right? A weapon for the sniper 1442. This is gonna be very easily tied to the other idea for the vision. But yeah, I suppose I could say that there is variety on the little aiming support here on the tip of the SMG. And we can say the importance of that for the design of the sniper. There is the gameplay, as I mentioned, stuff, but there is also the symbol of the sniper, which is the what's the name of it? The aiming crosshair. What else? Also, everything's gonna kind of fit together in one way or another, right? But that's okay, I guess. What's important is seeing it through the principles. So having variety here, there being basically just this specific use of space and forms and shapes brings variety there. I don't think color, texture, or other elements are helping too much, but in any case. And so yeah, so I do think that's easily tied, helps you communicate that this is a sniper weapon. Also, even though this weapon cannot zoom in, but the zoom in which you use the scope of the sniper rifle to achieve is something that only the sniper class can do. The sniper is the only class in the game that can scope. So all of that iconography, I believe, I think it's tied to, we can tie it to this aiming thing here. Without the aiming thing, we would have to look at other aspects here, let's say. But yeah, I do think we have some visual elements that resembles the important aspect of sniper's design. There, I mentioned that it's for variety. There are other, when it comes to the other principles, I wonder if there's any other one also that I could mention here. I guess there's some amount of contrast also, might as well mention, as I see it. Alright, so I already have something that ties to the sniper class for its design, specifically thinking on things like the scope, the symbol of the class, so yeah. And then and I think we can also tie some principles of art to what I talked about when I was interpreting, when I said that the long barrel of the gun here, and I also mentioned the aiming support. But the long barrel of the gun, I do think, to me I see a little bit of the principle of movement there. There is a little bit on the barrel and on the clip, on both things. And I do think that helps a bit to bring our eyes to the extent of it. And again, as I mentioned when I was interpreting, that has some similarities to the design of the sniper rifles. To be something with a long barrel, very long and thin barrel. In this case, specifically, the elements that are helping achieve the principle of movement would be, to me, forms. Shapes, yeah, forms and shapes because it's something long and thin. By the way, in this case, this is a cylindrical form, but it's often a rectangular shape. Watch out for shapes are 2D, remember. But I think also color helps because since it's like uniform in color, I think it helps a bit to make the eyes move around easily. There's not much texture to talk about, and yeah. And so yeah, so since this has some resemblance through the principle of since this part of the gun has some resemblance to the design of the sniper rifle, long thin barrel, and since this is being accomplished with the principle of movement, since I think it's easy to notice because of it. Yeah. Since we also have the very long clip here, I don't think stuff like there is not that much emphasis to me or contrast, for example, when it comes to other principles, but I do think there is movement there. And perhaps there's also a bit of unity. I just realized it because this specific, maybe we could say this is a texture, it's like, not sure if this is better, well whatever, not sure if form or texture here, but there is repetition in these bent parts here of the design. And so repetition is a way to achieve the principle of unity, and so that maybe also helps bring us our eyes to the barrel of the SMG, and reminds ourselves of the long barrel of the sniper rifle, ideally. So yeah, that's how I see the creative vision here being accomplished through the principles. And so if we have if that's what I see here, so it only stands to reason for me to call this a successful work of art. Yeah, congrats Valve. I wish I had came up with more ideas for the creative vision when I was interpreting, because that can make things interesting, but I'm really not sure if there's anything I could say. Just being, again, I was thinking maybe the materials could convey something, but I think that's a bit of a stretch, maybe the design, but only if I was very... that's interesting to think about. If I was very knowledgeable on guns and the design of guns through history, maybe we could interpret something considering the design of the SMG. Specifically on this mechanism and parts here at the back. But I guess that's alright. We already mentioned the design on this longer part here, because apparently that's not always the case for SMGs. From a quick Google search, apparently the long clip is more of a shared trait among different SMG designs. But in any case, so yeah, SMG, success work of art. Thanks for tuning into this critique. See you next time!